We must set the world on a new course. See, the environmental problem is real.
解决气候变化问题
C'est le problème le plus important de notre génération.
We're all part of the solution to climate change.
We can't wait for someone else to take action.
Corporate social responsibility surrounds us in almost every situation in our life, and we're mostly not even aware of it. For instance, take a look at your closet and all the clothes inside it. Where do they come from? Do you think or perhaps know whether they were made under socially responsible circumstances? What is the environmental impact of your favorite outfit? Do the new shoes you just bought perhaps have a more elaborate and deeper story to tell? Well, the answer may be found in corporate social responsibility. Per definition, CSR describes the initiatives that a company or corporation undertakes with respect to its effects on environmental and social well-being. These initiatives usually go beyond the scope of what's required by law or other protection groups. Of course, small and medium-sized enterprises cannot elude the responsibility they have towards the communities they engage in and effectively are engaging with. Many SMEs recognize this liability and focus as well as capitalize on it. But how far do these motivations go, and to what extent do SMEs actually communicate them to their potential customers? Basic green marketing describes the focus of the present marketing strategy on issues in an environmental and socio-economic context. This marketing strategy is certainly a desirable approach, however, its efficiency is not always non-controversial. For instance, the effectiveness of green marketing highly depends on the awareness of consumers within the market. How much does the potential customer truly know about the production process? These are questions companies often fail to address, which in turn affects the credibility of green messages sent by businesses and advertisements. In fact, according to a study by Rabah and Wahid, more than half of the respondents in their sample indicated that they paid less attention to such messages due to excess usage. This poses a major problem for SMEs who are specifically vulnerable to misunderstood negative publicity. Accordingly, many SME owners are extremely cautious with the implementation of CSR policies. Moreover, owners mostly feel responsible for themselves, their business partners, and family members rather than the whole society. CSR does not fit into this scheme, and yet it is becoming an increasingly important trend in the entrepreneurial scene, which can mainly be explained by the fact that the implementation of CSR can raise the company's or owner's profile. Which impact the consideration of CSR will have on an SME's operations hugely depends on how committed the respective business is. It is no surprise that truly dedicated companies use CSR efficiently and beneficially, whereas the less dedicated ones are often struggling. This struggle might even result in a practice called greenwashing. Greenwashing describes the pretentious and illusionary use and communication of environmentally and socially friendly practices, even though the actual operations are not in line with this image. SMEs might not even deliberately engage in greenwashing, but be pushed into these practices because governmental institutions or the supply as well as consumption channels require accordance with specific CSR qualifications that the concerned business may not be able to meet. It should now be apparent how complicated the incorporation of CSR is for SMEs. Let's see how one of the most criticized industries, the fashion industry, deals with this matter and how truly sustainable companies are trying to change the game. In principle, there are three approaches to incorporate CSR into marketing. Every approach should be chosen as a marketing strategy based on what the purchase drivers of consumers are. The first marketing strategy for incorporating CSR is the invisible approach. In this approach, even though CSR plays a role in guiding the company, the CSR of the company will barely or even not at all be communicated to the customers. A good example of a company in this case is Philippa K. This is a fashion brand which is seriously engaging in CSR but does not explicitly communicate this. The company wants to represent itself as a high fashion brand, so the performance value is a key part of their value proposition. In this case, it is simply not beneficial to represent the CSR motivations of the company in the marketing, since the focus needs to be on high fashion. The second marketing strategy for incorporating CSR is the selective approach. In this approach, the CSR will be marketed in specific and targeted ways, for example in sub-brands or strategic partnerships. Marketing CSR in this way is the most effective approach the company does not pursue accordance with all 5 CSR areas. An example is New Jeans. New Jeans is one of the pioneers in the distribution of 100% organic cotton jeans. However, the company has not incorporated a fully sustainable business strategy. In other words, New Jeans does not satisfy all 5 CSR qualifications. Thus, the company mostly excludes its CSR in its marketing efforts and rather focuses on the product itself and its specific organic benefits. The reason why they are not fully incorporating CSR in their marketing strategy is because the customers are mostly interested in the quality and uniqueness of the jeans. The last marketing strategy for incorporating CSR is the integrated approach. In this case, the CSR is a key driver of the brand preference. This strategy works best for companies in which CSR is a core value. A good example of this strategy is seen at Tom's. Tom's is a fashion company which works in keeping with the motto, 1 for 1. For every product they sell, they will give something back for the people in need, and a part of the profit is given to several related CSR charities. It is clear in Tom's case that their core value is CSR, and for the target group this is the most important need. CSR remains one of the most complex issues for SMEs and requires a considerate approach which is in line with the internal as well as external needs of the respective company. However, certain companies such as Tom's, Philippa K or New Jeans are already attempting to change the game and create a responsible impact.